It's Friday, yeah. And I've got no voice. Sorry, I'm getting over a cold. Good evening. How is everybody doing? It is Josh here from the Leeds Lounge, and we're going to do a bit of a pre-match, excuse me, pre-match chat. Obviously, the back of last week against Liverpool and taking a fantastic result there. Somerville, fantastic performance from him towards the end. Lackluster a bit in the middle, but he's kind of changed my mind slightly on him there. So it's positives really from last week. Meslier, obviously we touched it. I don't know if anybody saw the Shoestring podcast that I was on during the week. They were gracious enough to have me on there and talk about the events of the weekend from a Leeds perspective. So we pretty much cracked on with that. So obviously, if you want to go check that out, it'll be in the previous video, the previous podcast that was on the channel as well. But today we are talking about tomorrow, which sounds very confusing. We are talking about Leeds v Bournemouth. That is tomorrow, Saturday, the 5th of November at 3 p.m. And if you are in the UK, like I am, we all love them 3 p.m. kickoffs, don't we? Because you can't watch the game. See if you can get a link. So yes, Bournemouth tomorrow. After a fantastic performance last week, getting the 3 points that, let's face it, we all didn't think we were going to get. So this week we moved to Bournemouth. Mentally in a fantastic state. The pressure for these 3 points, I believe, is clearly greater than it was against Liverpool. Because, as I just mentioned, all of us didn't expect to get those 3 points against Liverpool. I don't think any of us expected to get a point, let alone 3. So the 3 points to get against Liverpool is massive. But that needs to be followed up tomorrow. These are bigger 3 points. Because these are games that we should be winning. The form we were in last week as well. Yes, okay, Liverpool had a lot of chances there. Meslier turned up. World class. He was absolutely fantastic. So I think it's beneficial to say that 3 points tomorrow is absolutely vital. We get those 3 points tomorrow, we jump up in the league a little bit, going into the Spurs game, pressure's off a bit. Obviously, Harry Kane, I believe, is on 2 yellow cards at the moment. So obviously, if he picks up a yellow card this weekend, that's him out the game. Son, I think, has fractured his eye socket in a Champions League game during the week, so wish him a speedy recovery. I don't ever want players to get injured, but beneficial to us, as harsh as it sounds. If Kane picks up a card this weekend, that sacks him out the Leeds game. Son's not going to be available for the Leeds game. Now Spurs are a good team, but very, very hot and cold, so those could go our way. But at the end of the day, you don't want to be sitting there as a Leeds fan going, oh, well, we'll get a result if they don't have this person, this person, this person, and this person. So, you need to be able to be beating these teams fully fit. But obviously Spurs will be the week after and Bournemouth tomorrow. So, massive there. Bournemouth going into their Liverpool game, they got absolutely slapped 9-0. So for us to produce that performance against Liverpool, regardless of how lackluster Liverpool were, I still think that Liverpool played well. Not as well as we all know they can play. Obviously the result showed that massively. So, but Liverpool is still a good team, regardless. Regardless of how you can say, they still had 6 or 7 proper goal scoring opportunities on Saturday, and Meslier turned up. Normally Meslier will not make all those kind of saves, so that's been idiots setting fireworks off. It's tomorrow. So yeah, it's I just wanted to kind of come on and just have a little bit of a chat. Obviously, we all know Sinisterra's injured, so Sinisterra won't be there. Beneficial, obviously, the other injuries, Dallas obviously won't be available. Archie Gray's not available. We all know that. But the other injuries, essentially, that would wipe them out from last week didn't. Obviously, the guys that were so-called injured, Cooper was one of them, said that he didn't know whether he was going to play against Liverpool. I think Strauch was another. Obviously, he did play. So they should be all in the lineup this week. And moving on into the lineup, that's what we'll do. I'll do a little bit on each kind of topic. My personal view on this is that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So the lineup we had against Liverpool, that worked. Adams, Rocker were immense. There is a couple of changes that I would have. I'd love to see Nonto get a start. I'd love to see Willie get a start. I don't think he will, just with that being obviously his first Premier League appearance. Obviously, we've missed Gelhardt now for a couple of games. I don't agree with the whole, we're 2-0 down, stick him on with 8 minutes to go to see if he can make a difference. It's too much pressure for a player. And if you're going to consistently use a player like that, I just feel like that's very unfair on him. After last season, proving that he's good in the position that he is, he'll create those chances, he'll take those chances, create space, and just be absolute hell for defenders. I think, in my view, even though Somerville did score, my personal opinion would be to shift the team around a bit and get Gelhardt on to start. I do have a feeling that he will start Rodrigo, obviously after that first goal in the first 4 minutes against Liverpool. So yeah, I think he will probably start Rodrigo. I'm just hoping then if he subs Rodrigo, he brings Gelhardt on, which moves me on to my next point. Bamford, as much as I love Paddy, there's a lot of people out there saying he's done. I don't think he's done. He's just a confidence player. He's coming back off of an injury that's then a re-injury that's taken him out for like 18 months, and he's not played an awful lot. And Bamford needs to play to get his rhythm. Now, I know what everybody's going to say. If you're going to say in the comments that a proper striker should be able to come back and play to a decent ability, which Bamford wasn't fantastic against Liverpool. Obviously, he had a couple of chances, one absolutely gleaming chance that I don't understand what his mentality was there, controlling that on the outside of his left foot. I don't understand that really at all. However, I still like him. If I could choose and bring Gelhardt on instead of Bamford, would I? Yes, I would. Would I sack Bamford off, get rid of him and say, thanks very much, but you're not playing for Leeds anymore? No, I wouldn't. So that's kind of my view on Bamford there. Good news, I think if you could class it as good news, looks like Forshaw will be going in January. Just touching on something else before talking about the Bournemouth game a bit more. He's played 47 minutes this season. Now, I know we're not many games in, but it's not great, is it? Take that number 4 off, slap it on Tyler Adams, and whilst you're there, give him the captain's armband as well, which I heard Jer say on his little breakdown the other day, and I completely agree with it. If you don't know who Jer is, he does Leeds United The View, absolutely fantastic channel that is. Daily updates, just no nonsense, to the point. If you want to go there for your breakdown, anywhere for your breakdown news, and you don't have time to listen to these 2-3 hour podcasts of normally people who don't really know what they're on about, talking crap for an hour, then yeah, head over to Leeds United The View on YouTube. Fantastic channel there. But I agreed with what Jay said there. Give Tyler Adams the number 4 shirt, and yeah, give him the bloody captain's armband. Obviously, they're not going to do that. He's not been with the team long. You got to establish yourself for that. But I do think that there was one gloomy moment where Cooper turned into a ballerina trying to defend in the Liverpool game and fell on his backside, and it went to create another chance. I think he'd already given the ball away twice for nearly 2 goal scoring opportunities there. And then this was the third. Meslier obviously come out, saved, absolutely fantastic save. All the team went over to Meslier and was like, well done. Now Cooper, as your captain, stood up and kind of gave Meslier a look as if to say, I'm going to try and blame this on you here. But when saw that the team were saying, oh, well done for saving it, he realised that he was massively outnumbered. I don't think Cooper's vocal enough as a captain, and when he does tend to be vocal, it's from his mistakes, and he tends to beam it onto other players, which I really don't agree with. It's not. That's not what. Yeah, fair enough. If other people are making mistakes, then yeah, give them a bollocking. But when you're the one that's making a mistake and you're trying then to lay it off on another player, saying oh, Meslier should have come out, or Meslier did come out but he had it, and I don't blame Meslier when it looks like Cooper is the last man. I don't blame Meslier for getting involved, because League One Liam will step up and give away a free kick, an unnecessary corner, a bloody penalty, get a card, take Meslier out. There's so many mistakes in him, it's ridiculous. So I think personally, Cooper still somewhat makes the team, I think, for me, but as a sub, I don't think he's a starter, and I don't think he's a captain. And that's all I've got to say about that, Lou. 10 it down. I'm going to touch on a couple of the players from last week, because obviously I did the podcast the other night, but it was mainly with the shoestring guys. But Tyler Adams is one of the, take all teams into consideration, I think he's one of the best signings of the transfer window. He's been absolutely immense. Now, I can't wait until he has one off day, which he will do. He's human, every player does. But I can't wait for that, because then you get all the faulty Leeds United fans coming on going, oh, I knew he wasn't as good as everybody made out. And it's like, he takes a lot on himself, and really takes the game to whoever he's playing. He was mopping up mistakes. He was creating, great passes. He was freeing up players with the way he was just immense. I'm really, really impressed with him. Christensen had a great game as well. I've liked him since he's come in. Now, yes, okay, he's had a couple of shockers, and he's had a couple of shockers against teams that we didn't want him to have the shockers against. Leicester being one of them, he didn't have a great game. But then again, none of the players did, really, for Leicester. And those are the games that we need to turn up on. Exactly like tomorrow for Bournemouth. Now, my personal opinion is that we do Bournemouth tomorrow. If we're on a high after that Liverpool game, and the players just need to then sit there and think, we can play like that. This is how we can play. And we know that's how Leeds can play. Fast pressing. Yes, okay, there was a bit of fault at the back. There always has been. And I think, to be fair, whilst Orta's in and Radritzani, I think there always will be a problem there, because they don't seem to want to tidy it up at all. But then they also don't want to strengthen the front by giving us a striker. Patrick Bamford this season alone has had 13 chances, and one of them was a penalty. Now, I don't ever blame a player for having a penalty saved. Yeah, okay, you can take a poor penalty, but it's 50-50, isn't it? It's player versus keeper. The player's probably got slightly higher odds, but if a keeper pulls off a worldy save, it's kind of like, oh, shame, good keeping, well done, whatever, move on. To miss the target, I think, as a striker, and as Radritzani explained at the beginning of the season, an international number 9, technically, yes. Has he been picked for the England squad? Probably not. So therefore, he's not an international number 9. I think that was a bit of a stretch. But to have 13 chances and no goals is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. As a striker, that is your position. Your position as a striker is to score goals. That is literally your job. You've had 13 chances. And when you look... Okay, yes, I'll cut him some kind of slack that obviously 2 goals he's scored have been ruled off. Obviously, there was that one the other week against Fulham where he chested the ball down and placed it into the back of the net. That player fell over. It was ruled out that he'd fouled them. If you then watch the Man City game the next day and saw Erling Haaland's goal when he ran through that other player, and I mean physically ran through him, there's blood and guts everywhere. and that goal counted. When you actually look back at the VAR, Bamford didn't actually touch him. He just knew he was there. He knew he'd been beat. He knew he was going to score. So he thought, I'll go down. Hopefully I'll get the foul. He did. Don't agree with it. That's why VAR is just so inconsistent. And it makes me mad because there was a statistic a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember who touched up on it. I think it was somebody from Sky, actually, that said in all the VAR decisions that Leeds have had, we are the worst team in the Premier League for VAR decisions to go against us. And I think it had something like, we have had, I can't remember the exact statistic, just in case I get it wrong, but it was somewhat stupid, like we've had 11 VAR decisions when we've scored and 9 of them have been overturned. So we've scored, the VAR did it, then they've gone, nope, no goal, which is ridiculous. If you then look at the likes of Man City, they had some, again, not the exact statistic, but it was something stupid. Like, they've had 17 goal-scoring VAR decisions, and 15 of them, the goal has stood. So, I'm not getting into the whole conspiracy and fix and the Big Six and all this rubbish, but there's clearly something there. You know, it was... I generally thought last week when we played Liverpool, because we were drawing at the time, there was going to be like 7 minutes added on from nowhere. We've seen it in previous Liverpool games where the game's flowed, the refs let the game flow really nicely, and yet there's still been 5 or 6 minutes added on. And what happens? In the 94th minute, Van Dijk comes in, bang, and Liverpool win the game. That's no fault of Liverpool. That's down to the officials, which I feel like are very inconsistent. Now, the official we had last week for the Liverpool match, I really enjoyed. He let the game flow. He gave the warnings where warning needed to go. He gave cards when cards needed. I don't think there was a lot of cards, but he gave the cards out when the cards needed to be given. And, yeah, clear, concise, and lovely. And building from that, we move on to tomorrow. And I'll talk about tomorrow very, very shortly. This will go up as a video as well. I do tend to do things as a live stream just because then I don't have to edit them, and it makes my life easier. And if anybody wants to hop on, obviously they can talk. They can talk as well. So 3 points is clearly vital tomorrow. There's no two ways about it. I don't even think I would accept a draw against a team like Bournemouth, which I know they're not a bad team, but we are better, and we should be better. So I think tomorrow, I think Marsh, if he's smart, if Marsh plays the same team that he played against Liverpool, I'll be happy. If he makes subs like he did, and at the times that he did in the Liverpool game, again, I'll be happy. Sometimes I don't agree with his subs, but last week it worked out. He's the manager, I'm not. He might see something I don't, blah, 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 blah. And we won the game. If the decisions he's making in bringing the players on are winning his matches, everybody will give him less stick. The problem is that we go from a winning position like last week. I think we did it against, I can't remember. We come off a draw against Villa. Oh no, it was after the Chelsea game. We beat Chelsea 3-0. Next match, we had no injuries. Everybody was fine. Next match came in, he'd made 4 changes. Why? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Leave it as is. Them 4 changes that you want to make, just have them as your first choice subs. Just go, okay, well, those are the 4 that I want to bring on. You bring on 5 now, so it's like, those are the 4 that I want to bring on. So bring them on. Bring them on when you want, but start the game as it was. I feel like there's no incentive now to play well in this Leeds United team because it doesn't seem to get you started. You know, Gelhardt is a brilliant player and he seems to be sidelined, and it's really frustrating me because the last thing I want is Gelhardt to go because he is great to bring on. If, you know, say for example, Rodrigo plays tomorrow and then he just, you know, Rodrigo tends to be, you know, blowing after a while and he's knackered, and he brings Gelhardt on, and where maybe, say we're 2-1 up, that's when you need to bring Gelhardt on because then you're going to go 3-1 up. And that's the space that we need. A lot of people are saying, you know, usual story tomorrow, we concede, then come back. We seem to be doing that, apart from obviously, we score first, they equalise, and then we go on to win. A lot of people are saying 2-1. I'm going to sit at a confident. I reckon we're going to have another repeat of Chelsea tomorrow. I reckon 3 or 4. I'm seeing goals. The players' chins are up. The confidence is up here, as it should be. They should be smart and clear and concise and going into that game tomorrow with every will in their body to leave with 3 points. You get 3 points tomorrow, the Tottenham game is nowhere near as stressful. You get 0 to 1 point tomorrow, we then got to get them against Tottenham. Excuse me, sorry. So, it's just an absolute must, and I just wanted to come on here and just have an informal chat about, to calm me down for tomorrow, really. Because it's, we should get him. We should get him. So, with that said, Bournemouth tomorrow, 5th of November, 3 p.m. Let me know in the comments where you're watching it from, where you're listening from, how you go into the game, where you sit in. Can I have your ticket? No, I'm joking. You let me know. Let me know your score predictions below. And I will see you over the weekend, maybe Sunday. Might come on, might let it sink in tomorrow and then do another video Sunday. Bit of a breakdown of how we played. Hopefully, I'm coming on Sunday to say, yeah, we absolutely battered them and we won 6-0. But that remains to be seen. But this will go live as a video afterwards, so if you want to, obviously, if you're in the stream now and you want to watch it from the beginning and what I've said, I've just rambled on basically for half an hour. Just a nice little quick one this evening. And basically just looking forward to tomorrow. And I think that's the thing. After the performance last week, it's probably one of the few games I've actually looked forward to watching rather than dreading it massively. Last week I was dreading it and look what happened. Whereas tomorrow I'm looking forward to the game. Boys need to come out, perform like we know that they can, get them goals and just get them buried. Just get them buried in the first half. 2 or 3 goals in the first half and just keep going at them. Don't stop. And when a player gets knackered, sub him off, get fresh legs on and put the right players on for the right positions. Don't be messing about with all of the formation like Jesse likes to do. But anyway, I'm going to love you. I'm going to leave you. We'll get them 3 points tomorrow. Convinced. Sorry about my voice today. I am not very well, but I'd said that I was going to do a video, so I've done a video. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you leave a like. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and those channels that I mentioned as well. The Shoestring Podcast and the Leeds United, The View as well, for any other of your Leeds United information. The Shoestring, they tend to be Man United. They do a few other podcasts. In fact, I'm talking to them over the weekend. We might have something cool planned where it's broken away from the individual teams and just more of a general football thing. So that would be pretty cool. But I'll keep you all posted anyway. My Twitter and everything's in the bio. And I will catch you over the weekend after we absolutely batter Bournemouth tomorrow. So thank you for watching. I'll catch you another day and let me know, who are we? Leeds. Thank you.